this video is a message for teens who may feel lost or anxious about their future, about where they will be, or I mean, it's more of a whirlwind of just different emotions. Where will you be? How is life going to be like in the future? How am I able to get through the things of the present? So I would just like to share maybe tips and perspectives on things that have helped me. Maybe they might help you, or maybe they might not. But I just hope that you could maybe get something, even if it's a little bit of valuable information out of this video to help you in some way. As I said, I have experienced something similar when I was in high school. I felt lost. I felt anxious about where I would be in the future. And I kept relating to what I was experiencing to what my life would be like in the future. And maybe you're also going through a similar situation like this, where you're comparing yourself in the future. And by doing that, what I've realized is it makes us more scared. It makes us more fear about our future. But what I started to do differently is I know this might sound cliche, but I started to just think positively about the future. And although high school, I knew that once I left high school, I would become better. So maybe it could even be an environment type of thing. But I just try to be as positive as I possibly can. I remember when I was in high school and I was telling myself, I was like, right, okay, let me just go through another 2, 3 years, or maybe an extra year of high school. And then after that, I'll leave and it felt like, in a way, it felt like I was free. It felt like I was able to do things. I'm able to become free. I am able to do whatever I want. So maybe it could be an environmental thing. But no matter what it is, and even for some of the things in the past, even as recently as this year, I've been through similar situations where maybe I felt lost, maybe I felt anxious just about my future, and feeling lost and specifically feeling anxious about my future. I have felt like that this year. I've been really anxious about my future, on where I'll be. But I know this is cliche, and apologies if it does sound, but I just try to be as positive as I possibly can. I try to remind myself of the mindsets that I have adapted. Sometimes there is times where we forget certain things. Maybe we let our emotions overtake us. Maybe we let how we are feeling control the road. Maybe control the vehicle that is leading on that path to our goals and dreams and desires. But I try to remind myself as I possibly can, whether it's reading books, whether it's maybe watching podcasts, maybe even just watching motivational videos. But most of the time, I just try and remind myself of the things that I've already installed in me. Because although it might go, it's always there. And I feel like that's another thing that people might not understand, is that there can be people that might believe, a bit like myself, there can be people who believe that their goals are possible, but still experience the toughest of battles, that still even have self-doubt. But I try to be as positive as I possibly can, and I try to remind myself with maybe harsh truths that if I do keep going, then how can I not get to that goal? If I just let the emotions take over me, then am I ever going to get to the places where I want to be? It's all of those things that I start to think about, and it changes my perspective, and it changes on how I look at myself and how I speak to myself, how I am feeling emotionally. So maybe that's something that you can also do, but this is something that I have learned. This is something that I still do regularly. And when I was in high school, I just tried to think about the best things that could come. I just try to think positively as much as I can. I just try to think of the best case scenario rather than thinking about the worst case scenario. And it might not change how you're feeling overnight, but it certainly does start to have an effect. which is what I've experienced, even if maybe we don't feel like being positive, by implementing positivity into our lives, by thinking positives about the future, then we start to become more appreciative of things, and we start to understand that what we are going through might not be the end. Maybe there actually is something happening in the future that is going to make me feel better. Maybe better is going to be out there. Maybe better is out there. And another mindset, this wasn't when I was in high school, but another mindset that I have adapted within the past 4 years is understanding that what if the challenges that I am facing now, what if all of the bad things that you could think about, all of the negative things to do with your life, to do with your goals, your dreams, even if you're building skills, building relationships with certain people, what if those things that you thought were negative were actually things that could help you? Most of the time, we think that these negative things only lead to negative outcomes. But what if the negative things that are happening, the failures, the setbacks, maybe a not so good relationship, maybe an experience that you're experiencing right now, what if they lead up to something amazing? And what I mean by that is there's valuable pieces of information that we can learn from what is happening within our situations, what is happening within our lives, and we can use it to help us. That's the great thing about these challenges. These challenges aren't the ends of our journey. These challenges aren't the ends of our lives. I used to feel that my life was going to crumble, but when I started to think positively, even if I didn't feel like it, when I started to change my perspective on the things that I was facing, whether it was failures, whether it was challenges with family, all that stuff, then I started to realize, well, what if there is positive out there? And what if this false mindset that I had before was only pushing me further back? What if the challenges that I am facing right now, or what if the challenges that I am experiencing are helping me in some way? What if those bad experiences, even the good experiences as well? But what I tend to realize is that we can learn more about the bad experiences than our positives. So there's always something that we can take out of anything and everything. I personally believe that. I used to think that everyone my age had it all figured out, that they were able to do certain things, that they were able to go out and become happy and be happy and do things that I couldn't do. That was the mindset that I had. And I realized that that mindset was damaging me. That was a false way of thinking, because the truth is, everyone on this planet, we are figuring out as we go. And the lens that we are looking at certain people at isn't the actual lens, isn't the first perspective lens. It isn't the lens that they are living. We may be seeing a little bit of what they're going through, but we're not seeing the bigger picture. And a lot of people might not talk about their failures or talk about what they've been through. And that's okay. It's up to me, it's up to you, it's up to all of us. It's our lives. It's up to us whether we choose to share certain things or not. But it's important to understand, even if people share their experiences or not, whether they share their failures or if they're going through things or not, I believe it's important to understand that we are all on the same boat. We are all on this spinning rock, figuring things out as we go. It might seem like these people are have figured it all out, but maybe they haven't, and most likely they haven't. We're just figuring things out as we go. We are learning, we are constantly adapting, we're constantly changing. So maybe they don't have it figured out, which most likely they don't, because I believe that no one has it all figured out. As I said, we're constantly learning. Now, yes, maybe someone might be at a higher level on maybe certain pieces of information. But that doesn't mean that they have it all figured out. In their eyes, they still think they don't have it all figured out, but in your eyes, you might think that they have it figured out just because they've gathered pieces of information that you don't yet have. So I also believe it's more of a perspective thing. But as I said, we are constantly changing, we're constantly evolving, and we're constantly adapting. And that's the amazing thing about life. There's so much things that we can learn. There's so much growth that is happening, even if we realize it or even if we don't. A lot of people talk about self-improvement, such as myself. And as I've said in a couple of other videos, self-improvement is happening within us. We are self-improving every single day, even if we realize it or not. Self-improvement doesn't have to be this phase. I believe it's not a phase. I believe it's a thing of life. It's something that we are experiencing every single day. And the truth may be, maybe they are good at figuring things out. And maybe we might not be yet, but that's the thing. Notice how I said yet. Because as I said, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. Maybe we might not be good at figuring things out yet. Maybe we might still be confused. Maybe things might still feel stagnant and it doesn't feel like things are moving, even the progress. But the more that time goes on, the more that we learn and evolve, the more we will get up to those people, up to their level, essentially. And there will be also people, a bit like me and you, that once thought the same thing. And they will be questioning us. I feel like they've got it figured out, even though me and you know that that isn't the truth. That isn't the case. So that's the thing. Maybe there is people that are able to figure things out as they go. Maybe they're better than us at doing it. But that doesn't mean that we won't be at their level one day. Because through time, through patience, through, most importantly, consistency, through thinking about the struggles that we're facing and thinking about ways to help us, then we will get to a level where we can figure things out as we go. Maybe go on to one struggle and then overcome that, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. Challenge to challenge, success to success, or goal to goal. These things will eventually happen. And who's not to say that they've not happened already? Sometimes it can be hard to think about the successes that we've had. Most people think that successes are these big things. But no, successes are even the smaller goals in life that you have achieved. Maybe you've left high school now, such as myself. But think of those times where you have succeeded at something in high school. Maybe you've achieved a goal in high school. Maybe you've done something that you never thought you would be able to do. For me, that was rap on stage. I actually rapped on stage. And that was just speaking and singing on stage as well. I was actually in a choir. But these things I would still call small successes, because it's still something that I am proud of right now. So even thinking about the past, thinking about the things that we feel proud of, can reassure us that we can also achieve other goals and do other great things in the future as well. Maybe you do feel lost or anxious about your future, which is what I used to be. But by doing the things that I've talked about, and also by experiencing our own struggles, by understanding and learning from our own struggles, there's always something that we can learn. There's always a key piece of information that can help us get to that point where things will start to improve, things will start to get better. I will be able to grasp on maybe certain skills, maybe certain mindsets better than I did in the past. So things just happen through time. I know it can sound confusing if you are at a point where maybe you're still going after your goals, maybe you're at the beginning stages of your goals. Even though you probably have, maybe you think that you've not achieved anything big. Maybe you think that you've not even achieved anything small. But what I would say to that is that things will eventually click into place. Maybe you might not understand what I'm saying, but by experiencing the things that you're going through, by adapting, by changing, by understanding what works and what doesn't, things will get better, things will improve over time. So I hope that this video could help you in any type of way. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could please like this video, subscribe down below, and if you know anyone that may benefit from watching this, I would appreciate it if you could please share this video to them. I would just like to say that everything that I've said in this video has worked for me, but may not work for you. So do the things that you feel can help you. Thank you so much, and I will see everyone in the next one.